My name is Ebony Cheyne. I am from Scotland and I am actually in Australia just now shooting this video, and it's one in the series about the anatomy of self-love. I did a little video recently about the personal need for myself to do a gratitude journal, and I had a lot of people ask questions about how to do that, or how does it really help. So this video hopefully will help guide you to know the reasons why it really does help, and also hopefully get you started. So the first quote I want to mention is, "Where your attention goes, the energy flows." And this is a premise that you can find in many different places. There was a book I read recently and it was a great story, and one of the points was that the main character was a race car driver, and he makes the point about where the eyes go, the car follows. And that is exactly the same premise. Like where you're looking to is where you're going to follow. So that can be in terms of manifestation, it can be in terms of visualization. There was a very famous rugby player at our school called Gavin Hastings, and he used to come to the school and do some talks sometimes, and he used to talk about visualization. He used to picture that ball going over the goal, and that was what he believed got him to score those goals in rugby. So I really believe in this, and it's really helped me personally. I think it's really easy when you're in a dark situation, whatever that may be, or in a kind of groundhog day with your life, is to really dwell on the negative and dwell in the lack thinking. So really getting stuck in the my life's not as good as theirs, or I don't look the same way as them, or if only I had this, or if I had that start then my life would be different. And it's just not true. It's really a mindset thing. There's people with everything given to them at birth that do nothing with their lives and are extremely unhappy, and you'll see that in celebrities, and you'll see that in rich kids and all sorts. Whereas there's people from all walks of life that make a success of their life and that are truly happy. And it's becoming rarer and rarer, I think, because we are so conditioned now to compare ourselves to other people, and not really take time to appreciate the small things in our lives or around us. And I recently spent a month in Bali, and the people in Bali have no money. They live on something crazy, but they have so much happiness and joy inside them, and that really just brings home to me like the need for this gratitude and the need for rituals as well. I'm not talking about religion here. I'm talking about daily practices that really bring you home. And I don't just mean scrolling through your Facebook newsfeed. I'm guilty for that as well. But I really do try to spend most of my time really communicating with people, whether it be on Facebook or not. I do spend a lot of time communicating with people on Facebook. But I try not to get caught in this trap of comparing myself to other people and looking at other people's lives, and regardless of how fancy their photos are, how good their lighting is, or how gorgeous their outfits are, or how exciting their lifestyle seems, I know from living in that kind of world that it's not always the way it seems. And often we envy things about people's lives that don't really matter. So for me, it really started a long time ago. It's actually while I was living in Los Angeles, and there's a great mindset there in some ways. It's got its pluses and minuses, but there is a great mindset there, and I did learn a lot about mindfulness there, and that really helped me when my sort of illness got worse and worse, and I was really stuck to a point where things were pretty bleak for me for a while, but it really helped me be grateful for all the things that I did have. And I heard someone recently say that even if we're stuck at home and we're sick, or we don't have the lifestyle that we want, everything's at our fingertips. If you have access to the internet, and there's lots of places to get the internet for free, you really can learn and grow, and there's a lot of things to be thankful for in any situation. There really is. And it doesn't always seem that obvious, and it doesn't always seem that easy to recognize. But hopefully this practice might help you. Definitely helped me, and it's helped many, many, many people across the world. Whether it's, you know, done in this sense or not. So for me, it's, yeah, you really want to start a gratitude journal, something that should take you 5 minutes a day, but will become part of everything you do every day, every second, the way you live. And if you ever start to feel those negative emotions again, you should be able to bring yourself back, even by looking back through your gratitude journal, or just really getting back to that practice of appreciating things in your life, the small things. And it's not the big things that matter, it's really about the small things. When you first start this process, you might think it has to be like this big thing and you have to spend 5 hours working on it, and it's going to be this huge life changer. And that's not really the way this works. It's really about doing a small daily practice. It's going to be a slow process, and hopefully it'll be something that over time will really, really change the way that you see things. So you might start off with talking about the big things that you can be grateful for, like in a big way. Things like, you know, you've got a beautiful home, or you have a fancy car, or you have Louis Vuitton boots, or whatever it may be for you that makes you happy. But actually, over time, and what is much more powerful is you'll begin to realize the really small things. And those could be things like being really grateful for the coffee that you had at the coffee shop in the morning, or the way that the waiter or waitress smiled at you this morning. Or it could be something like you're really, really grateful for the way that your limbs worked to get you out of bed this morning and get you to work. Even though you don't love your job, you're really grateful that you're able to do that job. Or it could be that you are really grateful for the artwork on the coffee shop wall that you'd never even normally notice. You know, the way that plants grow out the sidewalk, or the pavement, sorry. It really could be anything, very, very small to very, very big. And it doesn't matter where you start, but hopefully over time you will start to notice those small things, because that's when I think it really, really starts to make a dent in your life and the way that you see everything. So again, if you want to change your life, you've got to change what you focus on. Imagine that there are two versions of you living the same day, doing exactly the same actions, and coming up against the same problems and the same frustrations, the same things going wrong, people not doing things the way you want them to do. And one version of you gets out of bed and goes through this day in a lack-based thinking, and things really just frustrate, and they really, really just get you down, and they really affect you emotionally and physically, and you speak to people differently, and you don't appreciate anything within that day. You're literally just angry, mad, frustrated, pissed off, you know, whatever you want to say. So that is something that, you know, can definitely happen, and that happens when you're in that mindset of I'm not enough, my life's shit, you know, I've gone through so much, and you know, nobody else understands, and you know, if only I had this, or if only I had that. That's the mindset that really catapults that day becoming so frustrating and so irritating. Those things are going to happen anyway. The other version of you gets up and has that same day, the same frustrations, the same things going wrong, the same people doing things not the way you want them to do them. And that version of you is gravitating towards this way of seeing things and noticing things to be grateful for. So living that exact same day with all the same problems, you can have a completely different experience. Things will just wash over you. You won't have to really think about it. It won't even enter your being, because you know, it just doesn't faze you at all. And I'm sure you probably know people like that, and when people are in a really bad place, people like that really irritate you, right? I mean, I've been there. You look at people and you're like, how does that even bother them? How are they not, you know, pissed off about that? And And it can actually be even more frustrating to be around people like that. But the real joy is when you get there. And then you start to look at people that are so frustrated, and that seems really crazy to you, that they could be so frustrated over things that they can't control, things that, you know, don't really matter, things that don't really affect them. So yeah, that's kind of the point of why we're going to do this, and the point of why I think it really, really matters. It is a process, and it's not going to happen overnight. You really have to exercise that gratitude recognition muscle, and over time you will start to notice the small things. And the small things are what really, really, really makes a difference to just how you live and how you see things and what you manifest into your life. When you're in a place of negativity, you will get that back. If you're thinking about all the things that will go wrong, they will go wrong. If you think about all the people that irritate you, more of them will appear. If you start to actually notice the really good in people, you'll start to attract more people. It's very crazy how the energy of the world works, and I really hope that starts to work for you. And yeah, just don't expect it to happen overnight. It's not an overnight thing, but it is something that over time I really think you'll start to see a big difference. So I want to go over some daily questions that you can ask yourself. It's a very, very simple process. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to go out and buy yourself a notebook. It can be a really basic notebook from the supermarket, or it can be a really beautiful embossed notebook with your name on it, and you know, really go for it and feels really special. It really doesn't matter where you do this. You can do it on your phone. There's special apps that you can do it on. You could do it in the notes section of your phone. As long as it's somewhere that you can keep adding to. And the purpose of that really is so that if you do hit a really bad day, or God forbid something really bad does happen, that you have that journal to go back to, and to remind yourself of all the little things that you have accumulated over time that you are so grateful for. And it really is something special to have. And you know, hopefully you'll never need to go back to it, because you'll deal with things differently. And bad things happen to everyone, they really do, or they happen to most people. And it's just part of life. And we really have to just learn to deal with that the best way possible. So, daily questions. So I recommend in your journal or on your phone, or however you want to do this, you just ask yourself 3 questions every day. And you might not even need to use these questions. You might just be able to knock them out. But sometimes, you know, in different situations, that becomes very, very difficult. So I'll go over just some questions that I think are really useful, and hopefully you can come back to them. As I say, all these questions and everything we're talking about is in a document. So if you're interested at all, then you just shoot me an email or a message, and I will get those to you right away. Just send me your email address so I can send it to you in an email form. And basically that will just give you those prompts that you need and that little reference to go back to. And you can do it every morning, and most people do it every morning, and that is a very, very great time to do it, because it really starts your day off in the right foot. However, if you decide that the night time works best for you, or at lunchtime works best for you, it really doesn't matter what time of day you do this. The important thing is you do it consistently. You do it over and over again. It's not just something, to spend, you know, a whole weekend like working on and filling this book up of things you're grateful for. That's not going to change the way that your brain's working. And you know, any habit is really hard to break, or good habits are really hard to pick up. I'm sure we've all had the problem of, you know, working out or eating better or quitting smoking or anything like that. It can be really, really hard to do that, to get your brain to change. So it's something that I really recommend doing, just 3 a day. Whatever time you want, I would recommend the morning, do 3 a day. And if you don't need the questions, great. The questions are really there for when you get stuck. And believe me, if you don't at the beginning, you probably will one day. You'll really struggle. But there might just be one question here that can set you onto a train of more positive thinking. And hopefully then that can really help your life turn around. So some of the questions that I love to ask are, what is it that you're currently grateful for? Very simple question. I'm not even going to go into these questions too much because they will mean different things to different people. So I'm just going to leave them pretty much. Sometimes I will explain them, but pretty much I'm just going to leave them as they are. What relationships am I thankful for? What is good? Am I getting the nutrition and care that my body needs? What brings vitality into my life? Who do I appreciate? How am I fortunate? What material possessions am I grateful for? What abilities do I have that I am grateful for? What have others done in my life that I am grateful for? What am I taking for granted that when I stop and think about it, I'm grateful for? What is different today than a year ago that I am grateful for? What insight have I gained that I am grateful for? What about my surroundings, my home, my neighbourhood, my city, am I grateful for? What is associated with something that I'm grateful for that I can also be grateful for? So a good example is if you are grateful for that coffee you had this morning, maybe also that gives you a chance to be grateful for the farmer that grew those coffee beans, for the people that picked those coffee beans or whichever thing you're grateful for. What about being thankful for the sunshine and the rain? What about being thankful for the earth that it grew in? What about being thankful for the people that helped transport it from there to where you are enjoying it? What about being thankful for the business? What about being thankful for the roasters or the people that served it to you? There's so many things you can be thankful for any small little thing. When you really, really think about it, you'll start to see that. What have I learned lately that I'm grateful for? You can ask yourself, how am I? Who am I grateful for that taught me something recently? How have other people helped me that I am grateful for? What do I find fascinating? Can I be grateful for that fascination? What emotional feeling am I grateful for right now? It doesn't always have to be good things you can be grateful for. You can be grateful for the bad things. I heard Tony Robbins talk about this in his documentary, and it's a very, very, very good point, and it's helped me a lot. Where even sometimes the things that you think are bad, if you actually learn to see the good in that, then you're really onto something. It could be someone that, you know, picked on you at school that made you realize you weren't that way, or that they were superficial and you were never going to turn out like that. Or it could be absolutely anything. It could be a doctor that misdiagnosed you, in my case, who I was very, very angry with at the time. But I became very grateful because it really made me responsible for figuring out my own solutions. So I won't go into too many examples, but there's a lot of bad things you can be grateful to as well. So don't worry if you can't always come up with a positive answer. Just try to be creative and really, really think of the positive in that. What physical sensation am I grateful for right now? What interactions have I had recently that I'm grateful for right now? What is the most subtle thing I can be grateful for? So that could be like the gentle breeze, the smell of the meal that you cooked earlier, or that little smile in the coffee shop. What have I seen others do that I can feel grateful for seeing them do? So the other day we went for dinner and somebody collapsed in the street and a whole bunch of people rushed over to make sure she was okay, and were calling the ambulance, or they took her water. And that made me really grateful, you know, just to see how many people literally came running to her aid. And that makes me really see the good in people. So yeah, anything like that. What can I hear right now that I could be grateful for? So that could be, you know, birds singing, children playing, people laughing, anything like that. Could be just people having conversation outside that maybe sometimes you could find irritating. But actually there's beauty in that. People are going about their daily lives and you know, getting on with things, and that's a beautiful thing. What do I normally take for granted that I'm grateful for? So things like drinking water, flushing toilets, an abundance of food, fans or air conditioners if you're somewhere hot, or heaters if you're somewhere cold, hot water, blankets if you don't have heating. There's always something you can be grateful for. Clothes on your back. So yeah, I hope that's going to help. There are a bunch of other exercises you can do, but we'll go into those in different videos. But I hope that gives you somewhere to start with your gratitude journal. And remember, just 3 a day. All it takes is 3 a day. Be grateful for the flat, having a roof over your head, the air you breathe, being able to breathe, being not allergic to air. Some people are allergic to air, can you imagine? There's always going to be something to be grateful for, even if your life really seems to suck right now. And the more you focus on those things, the more your life will start to turn around. And the more people will be attracted to you in a positive way. Okay, well, I think that's enough questions, and I hope that that gives you somewhere to start with your gratitude journal. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them below, or send me an email or send me a message. And this is, you know, as I say, it's not an overnight thing. But the sooner you get started, the sooner your brain will start to change, and you will start to see things in a different way. Your life will start to turn around. So good luck, and I'm thankful for you watching this video. Thank you so much. Much love. Bye-bye.